Thank you, the entire IT department. We're going to consider ordinance number 14-17, authorizing and directing the North City Safety Director to certify to the Licking County Auditor the sum of $224,952.03 incurred by the North City Property Maintenance Department with respect to the demolition and correction of any other safety violations to be placed as a lien upon certain parcels of real property situated in the city of Newark, Ohio.
Good evening, Mr. Chair. First of all, I'd like to thank you for your consideration. I know we're all very busy, and this is not the normal night for committee. However, I do, as we spoke, this is important to the greater good of the community, and I do appreciate your time. Piece before you, if I can give you just a little historical analysis. We had a structure behind City Hall that our friends in the fire department back in, I believe, 2008 determined was unfit for occupancy. There was mitigation policies. They weren't going to go in unless it saved a life. And if we fast forward to late 2013, there was a parapet wall that I deemed unsafe. I felt it was going to fall and quite possibly hurt somebody. As a matter of fact, Columbus has experienced the same type of tragedy. So we put together a funding plan that could address the property out back. As you know, our mayor has committed to improving safety through aesthetics. We've lived up to that promise. I made a promise that we'd robustly pursue these monies to put it back in the public treasury, and I stand before you tonight asking permission and your support for this special assessment.
Any questions from the...
Mr. Chairman.
Sir?
Yeah, Director Spurgeon, this price was closer to $300,000, wasn't it?
Yeah, you're correct, Mr. Bub. What we've done is I've met with our Director of Law. There are three components to this financial model I spoke of earlier. There is a $75,000 requirement from the public treasury. I would term that revenue neutral because this council gave our Service Director Rhodes a permission to auction off some properties that the city held but weren't being used. We also harvested some monies through the Ohio Attorney General's office, which was in the $150,000 neighborhood. And then the third component, our mayor and Director Rhodes, upon hearing of this problem, I notified them, were able to go out through the CIC and raise $75,000 of private funds. There was a commitment made, and I'm happy to report that that commitment, that promise has been executed. Those funds are in the public treasury.
Very good, thank you, sir. Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion.
A second. Motion by Mr. Bub, second by Mr. Rath. Any other questions from the audience? Any other members of council? Mr. Guthrie?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman, my question is that the amount appears to be lower. I think maybe Mr. Bub might have been alluding to it in the total package. Is there something, some reason? What are we asking for?
Sure.
Okay.
Very, very fair question, Mr. Chair. I believe what Mr. Guthrie is referring to is the $75,000. It was a private donation to the CIC. I met with our Director of Law because, again, this is kind of unconventional for what I'm used to, and he advised me this is the lawful way to pursue it, and we could not lawfully recover that $75,000 private donation.
Sure. Mr. Rath?
A lot of directors of the audience, maybe we can hear from him and his thoughts on this issue.
If I could just kind of add to what Bill just said, there were three components to the funds that were used to demolish the structure. I wasn't comfortable adding that portion that represented private donations to the special assessment. There are really two avenues of collection that we can and will be pursuing for these funds. One is this special assessment. The second would be a separate litigation against the property owner. That litigation would be for the full amount if we went that far. The special assessment is really I just didn't feel appropriate for that private contribution. That's why the numbers really are different. I guess I should be addressing Mark. That's really why the numbers are different. If we were to go by means of litigation, the full amount, including that $75,000, would be included in the litigation.
Any other questions or comments from the audience? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion moves on to council.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. This service committee meeting is adjourned.